Welcome to our channel. We're all about faith, family, home, and farm. Come on in and grab a chair and sit a spell with us. If you like readable versions of all of our content, be sure to check out both of our blogs. The links to our blogs will always be in the description box below our videos. Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. You saw the title, and this is going to be a series of videos on, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I'll call it something good. But I have mentioned several times in videos since I have had my channel that we used to raise dairy goats. I used to raise dairy goats. And years ago, okay, when our boys were younger. And I told y'all in a few videos, maybe one of these days, I would dig out some old videos that I had made, and I would try to re-record them or something, because they were done with one of those little small handheld cameras that had the little 8mm tapes that you put in there. Okay, one of those, all right? And before all these SD card stuff come along. And we had the little tapes. Before that, do y'all remember the old news anchor video cameras that you had to put on your shoulder and you're on vacation trying to record something, and oh man, it's so huge up here, and it was the big VCR tapes. Okay, then technology advanced, and then we got the little bitty cameras with the little 8mm tapes. I recorded a bunch of videos back. It was at least 3 or 4 years after I had already dived into my goats, started raising them, learned them. And I'm like, I felt confident somewhat. And I said, you know what? There may be people out there that wants to start a homestead and wants to start getting into raising different kinds of animals. And there may be people that wants to get into raising goats. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think I'll make some videos, because someone had already reached out to me about a year before I started videoing, and it was a feed supply store, and they were going to have a goat clinic one Saturday, one weekend. And they actually invited me to come and speak. I think I have mentioned this in another video before. They called me to come and speak. And of course, automatically the nausea, nervousness set in, and I'm like, oh, you know. But my boys were so good. They encouraged me, and they said, Mama, you've been doing this for a while. You're pretty confident. Just talk about what you have learned and how you got started. Leave it to your kids to do a self-confidence check on you and make you, okay, Mama, wake up, okay? You got something you can share. Just do it. So we went to this clinic. I spoke, and I was so nervous. A speaker right before me had already touched on some of the things that I was going to cover. And I had my notes with me. And I'm like, there went that. She done said everything I was going to say. Now what am I going to talk about? And my oldest one, bless his heart, he said, you got this, Mom. Just talk about some of your experiences now. What your girls have done to you and me and that, you know, our other son and, you know, some funny things maybe. And I'm like, there goes that self-confident check he did on me again. I said, okay, I got this. Thank you, son. Thank you. And I got up, I spoke. Let me tell y'all something. I had these people laughing and rolling at my expense. And some of the stories, I shared about my boys and stuff like that. And I met so many people after this clinic. And I was like, we got in the truck and he's like, see, Mom, I told you had this. And I'm like, you know what? How about if you boys will help me, let's start doing some videos. And maybe I can turn those into educational videos if I ever have to go to another clinic or something or get asked to speak somewhere. I can find out how to put them on DVDs, stuff like this, or a project. I don't know. I was going to figure it out, okay? And my boys is like, okay, we'll help you. Y'all, I had 2 boys. I can't even remember the ages now, okay? Because that's how long it's been. They started helping me get out that camera and record some videos. And then there was a lot of the work, y'all, that even though I say I raised dairy goats, y'all, I had so much help from 2 young boys. One of them enjoyed helping me more than the other one did. He would do things if I asked him to. He wasn't into goats, stuff like that. But my youngest one, he always did the chores with me, always went down to the barn with me anytime I needed to go help me do the work. A lot of times he wound up doing the hard work, okay? He wanted to learn, and I was teaching him. And that helped me out so much. He kind of sometimes manned up and did some of the hard work. And I am so thankful for my kids when they went on this endeavor with me. And they learned a lot too, because some of the things that our oldest one learned about goats, he can implement that now to cows, okay? I used some of the same medications that they use, some of the same practices, some of the same ideas. So it's all coming back to him now. But my boys really helped me when we raised our goats, okay? And they went on this journey with me. So we started recording videos. I taught them how to use the camera. Now, mind y'all, I'm going to warn y'all ahead of time. The quality of some of these videos is not so good because young boys were working the camera sometimes, and there might be a little shaky and, stuff like that. It's trying to zoom in and out. They're trying to play with the features on the video camera when I'm trying to talk and do a video. Stop it. Okay. Anyway, and then there's one time our oldest one was recording, or my youngest one was recording, and he may have been like 7 or 8 at the time, and he hit the record button, but there was a feature on it, a filter, that made me look funny. I don't know, but I didn't realize it until after we went back and watched it, and I got it on the DVDs, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But y'all, I was not going to redo it. I was not going to hurt my child's feelings because he helped me. He stood there with me in the hot sun. And so I'm going to go ahead and warn you, some of the quality on some of these videos is not going to be the quality of some of my videos today because of it being a little 8mm tape that I had to transfer to DVDs, and you can't edit those, okay? There wasn't editing software back then, okay? What you got on those things is what you got, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and warn you, the quality, the lighting is not going to be perfect, but I want you to take this set of videos and use them for the information, the education, the knowledge. Because of what I learned, I wanted to share it with other people that wants to get into raising goats for their homestead. You're thinking about it. You don't really know where to start. And yes, And then some things I learned more about in following years after I made these videos. And then over the years, I was able to change things, create a different program, different management, and better ways of doing things, because more education came with learning, and more education from extension offices, agricultural aspects, and learning more about new diseases that were coming on and stuff like that, that everybody needs to keep up with. So the purpose, these videos may not be for you, but they're going to be part of my videos on my YouTube channel. And they are going to be for those who are interested in starting to raise dairy goats on your homestead. How I started, my management program, things that I used, my barn, where I found it. We didn't build a barn. Where I found it, options that you can use. All the way up, we will talk about in some other videos. I'm going to try to do these in sections to where the videos won't be so long. I'm going to try to break them apart into different videos. And you're going to get some surprises. You may cry. You may laugh with joy. You may laugh at me. I hope you get a kick out of it, but most of all, I hope you get educated. I hope I give you something that you can use and that you can implement and start getting you some ideas of getting a management program going, and some practices. We're going to talk about, I'll show you how to give some shots. There might be a little live birth in there somewhere. Things that I can just catch and share with you. We will see what's coming up, but we will start this segment here. And like I said, you might can get a pen and a piece of paper and start writing some ideas down and save these videos to where you can always refer back to them later and say, now, where did she talked about this? I need to go back and watch this. Okay. Thank goodness for the rewind button. Okay. I hope you enjoy these videos that I'm going to put in this series. I will break them apart, and I hope you enjoy these. I hope I help you somehow. And let's get started with the first video. Our farm in Tennessee. Well, I'm trying to raise dairy goats. You see, I still don't know all there is to know about raising them. So if you're like me, you've gone out, you've bought all these books, you've done your research on the internet, you've bookmarked pages, you've highlighted pages. Now you're so overwhelmed with information. Sometimes you think it's just better if you just watched somebody else do it and find out how they do things. You just want somebody to show you. That's the purpose of this video. I wanted to learn all I could learn so I could help other people. And I come up with this crazy idea of making a video. The best way I learned a lot of things about raising dairy goats, or any kind of goat, is visiting other farms. I would meet goat owners in different places, and I would ask them, could I visit their farm? And they love it. They love to educate people. A lot of farms will educate children from public schools, homeschool children, 4-H, FFA. They like for people to come out and visit. They will be more than willing to show you how to do things. And that's how I learned a lot about my girls and raising them. I would walk around, I would see how they do things. Some of their ideas I liked and I used them. Some of them I didn't. It doesn't matter how many farms you go to, they're not all going to do things the same way. Everybody comes up with their own system and their own management program, and you can do the same thing as long as you know the basic needs of your goats. You can come up with your own herd management program. You can use some of their ideas. You don't have to exactly do things the exact same way that they do. You don't have to use the exact same brand of something that they do. Like I said, as long as you know the needs of your herd, you can come up with your own management program. Also on this video, I wanted to show you basic procedures that you can perform on your own instead of having to stress your goat out by loading them up in a trailer, taking them to someone they've never seen before and expecting them to touch them and just stand still. These are procedures that you can do on your own. Doesn't cost you a thing, and you get a feeling of accomplishment, and you will feel proud of yourself. Now, the next thing I would like to tell you is that this video is unplanned, it's unrehearsed. What you see is what you're gonna get. If I get butted across the barn, you'll be the second to see it. I'll get to see it first and laugh. So you can laugh along with me, cry along with me. Everything I'm gonna try to tape live. You see one blooper already, that's okay. I want you to get a farm experience. You can look at other farms and you can think they're perfect. Oh, look how well behaved their goats are. Some of them aren't well behaved at all as soon as you cut that camera off. I want you to get a good experience and see what goes on a farm every day. So I hope that you use this video, and I hope that you learn a lot. So let's just start this journey together, and I hope you enjoy it. One of the first things I want to cover with you is shelter or housing. You don't have to have anything elaborate. You don't have to go out and build thousands of dollars worth of a barn. Just as long as they've got something to get into, in and out of the rain, out of the hot weather, out of the snow. You can make it out of scrap wood. You can make it out of scrap tin, a pole barn. As long as it's got 3 sides, a roof, a little bit of shade to get in out of during the summer months. Just make sure they have a little bit of ventilation, because you don't want to coop them up somewhere where when it gets so hot that they, can't hardly breathe because of the humidity and the heat. And you do want it to protect them from drafts. So as long as they've just got something to get in and out of the rain, out of the bad weather, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. And you can just use your own imagination. I want to take this opportunity to show you an option that I had for a barn. I'll walk you around the barn and show you things that I use and what I use them for. As you can see, Miss Coco's in the door. This is Bonnie Blue Farms Widget's Coco. Her mother's name was Widget, and I got her from a dairy farm in Waynesboro, Tennessee called Bonnie Blue Farm. As you can see, our Louds, Dixie and Susie, are a little jealous. They want the picture too. That's fine. She is my little baby. We got her when she was a week old, bottle fed her. She thinks she's still that little baby who can just hop up in my lap and get all the attention and the loving. She does like to butt. She likes to get after things that are smaller than her. But this is my barn, and I'm going to walk you around. If you'll notice the fence panels in the front, I use these for several different reasons. One is when we start rearing kids, when they are too young to be able to get out and be with the grown-ups, afraid that some of the other goats might pick on them or something. Until they get big enough, we can keep the babies inside the barn. I'm afraid my girls are going to run me over any minute. We can keep them inside the barn, away from other goats that might pick on them. I use it in times of when we have to spray around our fence line for weeds and things like that. I don't want the girls getting in any kind of toxins and eating it and possibly getting sick. So we use this for many different reasons. My other girl is inside the barn, Miss Tisha. She's expecting in about 2.5 weeks. And right now, when the girls get out here and get a little antsy, they want to run in the barn, and it makes Tisha very nervous, so I'm able to keep our dogs out. I opted for this option because I was very impatient. I did not want to wait on saving up money to build a barn. The waiting period, I wanted it, and I wanted it then. So what I did was I found a place that rents to own storage buildings. And they had this lovely lofted barn floor plan that I loved, and I picked it. Pay for it by the month, it's paid for, and I got it right then. Another good thing is, where we were living at the time, it was not our permanent property, and I needed to think about something that I could take with me when we moved. So when we moved from our spot that we were renting, we were able to call the company, and they came out and moved it for us here to our new property. So see, barn intact, I didn't have to do a thing. The company came and moved it for us, and they've had a shelter for 2.5 years now, just like this. The doors open and close, where during the cold weather, I can close one of the doors, keep the rain out, keep some of the cold out. Let's see, I'll take you inside in just a minute. Let's walk around here. I want to show you, see the two barrels that I have out here? One of them I used for feed storage. Another one, I got my handy dandy brother-in-law, who is a plumber, to build me and bore me a hole in the bottom of it for a water spout. As you can see, I do not have water or electricity down here. Now, I do have a water hose running down here from our spout way up there. So I'm able to fill up my barrel and keep it clean. Therefore, I have fresh water at all times. That was my first option. My second option was, oh, look at this, ta-da. I got this from Co-op. It was a fertilizer, a liquid fertilizer tank that went on the back of their ton trucks to spread fertilizer. So a lot of times your local co-op or feed supply store will let you have these for free because they don't want to have to pay storage capacity, and they don't want to have to pay somebody to come remove it off of the premises. And they were more than glad to get rid of this one. So this stores, I don't know how many gallons of water, and it has been perfect for me. So I use it now to fill up their water dishes and clean things, wash my hands if I need to. But let me remind you, if you get something like this from your local co-op, make sure that you thoroughly clean it out with bleach and water and detergent to make sure your goats do not receive any of the toxins. You'll want to make sure you clean it out very good. Nice shingled roof. I just love this option because it just fit me better. Okay, now I'm going to walk you around on the inside, and I'll show you Miss Tisha. She's still kind of scared of our dogs right now. She doesn't want to be around them very much. Not at this moment anyway, since she's moody. Let's see if I can go through here. If you'll notice, the solar panel right up there under the X in the square. Since I don't have electricity down here, my nifty husband, who is an electrician, put me up a solar panel with a couple of lights on the inside. So that way it helps for nighttime when I have to go up and down this ramp, or when I have to get in the barn at nighttime to milk the second time. I have plenty of light down here. So let me walk inside and I'll continue the tour of my barn and my option. I'm inside the barn now, and this is Miss Tisha. This is Bonnie Blue Farms Copper Tisha. And this is she is the ornery one, stubborn one. Oh, what else can I say about this girl? Yes, I'm talking about you. There's a lot of things I could say about her. She is due in about 2.5 weeks. I'm hoping to catch a live birth on this tape. So y'all hang with me. Maybe I can. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you look around. I nailed some boards here at the bottom so I did have their water hanging on this rail right here. But since we have them out in the fence now all day long, I give them their water on the outside in those red buckets. They can come and go as they please. I'm trying to keep the inside of the barn clean for when the baby does get here. I used another barrel from a friend of ours that worked in a chemical plant. I cut some barrels in half, and I use this one as a hay trough. I have a nifty shelf up there with a bunch of junk on it. I won't let you see that. I hung some more 2x4s here where I could hang their food. Let's see. I have a stall here that my husband built. This is where I store feed and keep them out of it. Notice the lock on it because Miss Smarty Pants Coco knows how to get in there. It does have a ventilation area in here, which is the window back there. During the winter, I close it. During the summer, I open it up for ventilation. I have a loft up there for extra hay storage and a loft up here for extra hay storage. Of course, right now, it's full of my husband's and my children's hunting memorabilia, so they will be cleaning that out for me pretty soon. I also have some more lanterns hanging up. Now, let's talk about flooring. I have wooden shavings in the bottom of my barn for my floor. The reason why I do this, I don't like to use hay as a floor covering because, as you can see, when they urinate, the cedar shavings soaks it up. And you're able to come in here and I flip the litter. Once a week, I like to come in and flip the litter to where what is on the bottom, if it's wet, it'll be exposed to the top and it will dry out. I also like to scoop up poop every day and keep the barn floor clean, as you can see. They just messed it up again. Thank you, girls, for video. Next year, I'm going to try a different option. I do thoroughly clean the barn twice a year. Every 6 months, I will totally scrape out all the shavings, replace the barn floor with clean shavings, and it'll last about 6 months. Daily maintenance is scooping out the litter, like I said, and it's never wasted because what I get out of the barn, it goes straight in my garden for mulch and fertilizer, so it's not wasted. I'm gonna try a different option the next time I clean out the barn, which will be this winter. I'm wanting to try rubber mats, stall mats. To me, I think I can try this option because, hey Coco, because I can come in here and sweep the poop out, and I can come in here with a water hose and spray it down, and it's just as sanitized as everything. And I'm not having to go and constantly buy shavings because I can spend $200 a year just replacing the barn floor, $100 every 6 months. Hello, Tisha. So that is, $200 a year. Now, this is my pride and joy right here besides my girls. Movie Little Fanny, thank you. Milk stand. This should be on your list of top priorities, please, because let me tell you what happens. If you do not start them out young on a milk stand, as far as grooming, trimming, hooves, brushing, disbudding, administering vaccination shots, anything, milking, please, I beg you, start them out early because this is what's going to happen. You would have loved if I would have had footage of this when it happened. The first time, I did not have my milk stand when I first got my girls. So you can imagine me trying to get this one right there. I'm going to zoom in on her. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Just go ahead and turn your head. Trying to get her on a milk stand for the very first time, knowing she was never been on one and she was never used to one. She drug me clear through this barn in circles. Rodeo time. Oh, you would have loved it. We didn't think it was very funny at the moment because it was hot, we were sweaty, irritable, sticky. She wasn't wanting to cooperate. She was scared half to death. She had started sweating. She drug my oldest son, through the barn. She ran me into that stall right there. Oh, you name it, she did it to us. So my advice to you is please let this be number one on your list of things to get, your priority list. Start them out when they are young. Play with their feet. Play with their teats if they're females. You shouldn't have any problems. You shouldn't have any problems for when they get older if they're already used to you touching them. Then when you get ready, they get older. All I gotta do now is just say, Tisha, up, and she goes to the milk stand. She eats while I milk. They still don't like having their hooves trimmed. I don't think they'll ever get used to that. Are you posing, pretty girl? Yes, you are. Some things they won't never get used to. They still do not like having their hooves trimmed. But that's okay. They'll get used to it. It's something that you have to do. I use this milk stand for everything. But please start them out early. Getting them used to this milk stand. Getting them on it. Doing things that you need to do to them, that you have to hold them still. I even went through tying them to the tree, tying them to the fence here. Nothing worked because they were running all over me. They were choking. I had to do something. I just started it too late. So, as I say, you live and you learn, and that was a lesson I learned the hard way. But I hope you've enjoyed the tour of my barn. I hope I've gave you some good information that you can use to help deciding some things that you can do for your barn. If you don't have power or electricity, think of some of these other options that you can use. My husband built that stall in there for me. It did not come like that. Consider your options for flooring. Cedar shavings soaks up. Hay just lets it soak through. It goes straight to your wooden floor of your building, and eventually over years' time, you're going to have a rotted floor. So I use the cedar shavings. Now next I'm going to try the rubber mats, and only put some shavings in the areas where I know they sleep. Going to be so much cleaner. The next thing I do is I make sure I spray inside the barn an insecticide for flies, any kind of ticks or mites or any kind of natty parasites that might get on them and drive them crazy. I make sure I spray, and then when I do that, sometimes I lock them out of the barn and close the gate so they don't get in there and smell all this, because they'll start sneezing. And I spray outside around the barn. I spray around the fence. I spray around the all sides of the barn, the back and on this side, just to help with gnats and mosquitoes, anything. So, and then just remember to recycle whatever you get out of your barn. Use it in your lovely garden like I have over there. If you don't have anything to haul your goats in, I found a wonderful two-sided horse trailer, a short horse trailer, which serves my purposes very good. I haul them to my breeder. I've had to take them to the vet a few times. I didn't pay much for this trailer. Or you can look in the Tractor Supply magazine, and they have like cages that goes in the back of the bed of your truck for hauling. If you go to shows and things like that, you'll want to think about things that you can do for them to haul them in. But I hope I've gave you some useful information, and I hope you've enjoyed the tour of my barn. I hope you can use some of this information. One thing that I forgot to mention that you might want to do is if you do raise a garden for your own self-sufficiency, you want to make sure that you close it off. Just like you kind of want to keep the deer out, well, you're going to want to keep your goats out of it too, or they will come in here and eat everything up. And there are endless options too as far as fencing. You can use any kind of fencing. You can use cow panels. You can use anything. But you want to make sure that you close off your garden area to keep your goats out of it, or they will, tend to get in your crop a little bit. So just be sure that you make sure that fruit trees, berry bushes, toxic plants, your flower beds, make sure that you just close them off where your goats can't get to them, and just look into all your different fencing options. A couple of my gate options. This is a 4.5 foot wide gate that my husband put up. This gate we use for easy access, just to get our rhino or our four-wheelers through. It's just a quickie in and out. You can use anything you want to as a gate. Just look at all your options. Your local Tractor Supply or fencing store, or your local co-op. Let me walk down to the other end. I'll meet you down there, and I'll show you our other gate for another access. Back, you got there quicker than I did. I had to go through the dirt and everything. Okay, this is our other gate. This is a 16-foot wide gate We use this. It's at the end of our driveway. We have two driveways, one to the house, the other one to the end of the road. This one comes straight from the road, bypasses the driveway, comes straight down, and goes down to the barn where we can get our trailer in with our truck to unload feed, unload hay, things like that. It's just an easier access. Oh, don't knock me down. This is my water hydrant I was talking to you about, that I supply water down to my barn. Later on, we're thinking about building a bigger barn right up in here somewhere. As soon as we finish getting this big old barn pile burnt off and tree stumps buried and pushed up and burned and all that good stuff. This is my water hydrant. I have a little fence around it, supported by a couple of stakes for one thing, so we don't run over it with the tractor. You know, somebody forgets it's there, run into it with a four-wheeler, and to also keep the girls from chewing on the water hose and tearing a hole in